Good afternoon. If everyone will please be seated as quickly as possible. We have a busy schedule this afternoon, and we'd like to keep things as on schedule as possible. Good afternoon. I'm Gail Hodges, the president of the Lake Forest Preservation Foundation, and I'd like to welcome you to our annual meeting of April 26, 2015. All of those present may vote, and I'd also like to ask the secretary in proxies, do we have a quorum? Okay. You also have all received copies of the minutes of the 2014 annual meeting. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I have a modification, a major modification in the minutes.
Yes.
It says we have helped secure a second ITP grant for $1.236, which could be mistaken for $1,236. I would suggest putting an M in back of the 236.
Right. Excellent suggestion. Thank you very much, Mr. Moore. May I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
A second? Second. Thank you very much. I just have a few words and some thoughts for the future. Thanks to support of you, our members, other community supporters, and community organizations, 2014 was an outstanding year for the Preservation Foundation. Friends and neighbors joined generous homeowners to make our fall historic home and garden tour in the elegant Ridge Lane neighborhood the most successful we have ever had. Foundation members and friends across the community generously supported our annual fund campaign with a record-breaking total over $20,000, helping to ensure support for Lake Forest's future by preserving the past through preservation projects. As a result of the success of past annual fund drives, the Foundation's board voted to contribute $5,000 to the Forest Park project, $2,500 to help the city restore the only existing signed original of the 1857 historic plan of Lake Forest, and to initiate a new heritage fund, in addition to support for the restoration of the Castlegate gates. Our annual holiday celebration welcomed members to the first ever look at the beautifully restored James Ward Thorne House and an introduction to Mrs. Thorne's World of Miniatures by author Sally Sexton Kalmbach. Our annual preservation awards honored and recognized the dedication, stewardship, and diligence required to help preserve the architectural gems that make Lake Forest a unique community. What lies ahead? What are areas where we as a foundation and you as members supporting our mission should be alert and proactive? A few on the table right now are the following. The Lake Woodbine Bridge, which was featured in our spring newsletter, has a long way to go in overcoming hurdles posed by conventional IDOT standards and engineering challenges. Here and at the downtown railroad station, and in the future, changes that gradually erode the historic visual character of Lake Forest in ways that can make our community everywhere else instead of someplace special must be challenged and negotiated to bring conformance to the historic context in which these structures rest with our neighbors, our neighborhoods, and our central business district. The development proposed for the former Laurel Avenue Municipal Services site, as many of you know, has been continued to the next Plan Commission meeting. Issues include contextual issues of building height, density, and design. One has to ask why, when the hospital was denied height over 3 stories, this project continues to exceed 4 stories for the major proposed structure, which actually, one of our towers in Market Square is only 1 foot shorter than the proposal. The Route 60 Amberley Shopping Center proposal is again on the docket. The Plan Commission has recommended approval of the new conceptual plan, which does reduce the number of buildings, as that plan has met all the requirements set forth earlier by the Commission. This project warrants careful attention. It will come before the Historic Preservation Commission to review demolition of the landmarked historic buildings recommended to be saved by a report commissioned by the earlier developer. The project also will come to the Building Review Board for review of architectural and landscape design. Major issues include the design compatibility of the structures on the site and the saving of significant heritage class trees on the site. It has been my pleasure to serve as your president for the past 2 years. My work was made immeasurably easier and pleasant with the support of a talented, hardworking board of directors and our exceptional executive director, Marcy Kerr. Thank you all for providing this opportunity to work to secure the past and the future of Lake Forest. Thank you. Fred Moyer, our treasurer, will give the treasurer's report. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Gail has just recognized Marcy Kerr for her fine work for the foundation, and I need to do that again because in my capacity as treasurer, I depend on what Marcy does, and she just does an outstanding job. She tracks the expenditures and income on a daily and monthly basis, and each month there is a tabulation of expenses through that date compared to the previous year through that date. And the summary, which is, I believe, available on the table, and perhaps you've picked up, of the balance sheet and operating report, provides exactly that kind of a tabulation, namely what were the expenses and income and balance last year on this date compared to this year, approximate comparison. As of April 20th is the tabulation for today, and the comparison is to April 25 of last year. And to make it reasonably brief, unless there are extensive questions, I will just summarize by saying that we're on track. The income is on plan with a slight increase this year after a very strong increase last year. So in other words, the strong increase has been maintained for 2 consecutive years. And the expenses were kept in control with a slight increase in operating expenses due to printing that came in on a timing basis. Some of last year's printing expenses came in this year. So they were not shown last year, they're appearing this year. So actually this year is carrying some of the expense of last year. Having said all that, the balance, the income that is available, net income, is on par with last year. $3,530 is the balance that is there, and that will be used to support the ongoing program of the foundation. Any questions? Otherwise, you get to hear the next speaker. Thank you.
Maureen is our development chairman, as some of you know, and this is her message. Thanks to all of you in this room, as well as many preservation supporters unable to be with us today. This was a very good year for development in the Preservation Foundation, of the membership and the fundraising kind. We were challenged to top 2013-14, which was an amazing year for membership dues, annual fund, general contributions, our annual home and garden tour, and other programming. Thanks to an impressive 42% increase in annual fund donations this year, we did it. Your support enabled us to fund a donation to the Forest Park project and to establish the Heritage Fund, which will provide grant funding to community-nominated preservation projects. Our next challenge is to grow our membership. The larger our membership, the greater the impact our work will have on preserving what we all treasure most about our amazing community. We hope you'll join us by inviting others to participate in our programs and to join our membership at any level. We've done great work, but there's so much more left to do. Thank you for your continued support and willingness to spread the word. Spreading the word and personalization of your personal commitment to the foundation is our most important asset. Thank you. And I would like to now call Allison Durr and Art Miller to talk about programs.
Well, I'm going to speak on behalf of both Art and me. Hello, and thank you for being here today. We have enjoyed this year providing quality experiences for our membership and for our guests who have joined us on special occasions. And at this time, I would like to briefly summarize some of the events we had last year, and then I would like to preview some for this coming year of 2015. Our first garden stroll last year was at the Gardens at 900, Craig Bergman and Paul Klug owners. The August garden stroll was at Tony and Dave Mathis's home, and the gardens were designed by Dorothy Hebert of Gardens in Progress. And she was able to be there and to speak to us about how the gardens developed from nothing to the beauty that they are today. In September, we provided the Enclave of Elegance tour on the historic Ridge Lane property, which Gail has already mentioned, and we thank the homeowners who participated in that. Jane Whedon Hall, Shelley and Brett Paschke, Jennifer and Stanley Janowick, Penny and Andrew Knight, and the reception was at Karen and Alan Lacey's home, also known as Bagatelle. In November, thanks to Jan Gibson, General Manager of the Genesee Theater and Lake Forest Preservation Foundation board member, we were able to have a backstage tour of the renovation at that historic property. In December, our holiday party, as Gail mentioned, was at the Thorne home, and we featured Sally Kalmbach, who wrote a book about Mrs. Thorne's World of Miniatures. And for the coming year, of course, we have today, and if you have not been to Fair Lawn, it is a real treat, and I think you're going to enjoy this home. It is a very special property, and Lorna and Miles Marsh have opened it to us, and we hope that you will all attend. When the meeting is over, there are directions to the property on the table as you exit. Excuse me. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. We forgot March. We had a wonderful panel discussion, renovation and restoration 101, which was an opportunity for community members to learn about the benefits and realities of owning, maintaining, and updating older homes. Our own Arthur Miller was the moderator. Kathy Zerniak was part of the presentation, as was Guy Berg, who is also a board member. Suzanne German from Landmarks Illinois was there, and Ingrid Brzezinski represented a homeowner who's been through all of that that renovation entails. On June 19th, we're going to have a garden stroll. It's going to be at the Crawford home on Lake Road. And we will be having somebody who will also present information about the Forest Park renovation at that event. We're still working on the August garden stroll. Our location is no longer available, so we are in the process, and just check back on our website and you'll be getting mailings about that event. Please mark your calendars for the Fall Home and Garden Tour on September 20th. We're in the process of securing and finalizing homes, but this is going to provide a very special view into an historic area of Lake Forest. And since this is our only fundraiser of the year, we hope your attendance and support is something that we can count on. December 6th will be our holiday party, which is always a membership favorite. I know you all like that. So we're also exploring other programs to provide during the year, and if you have any ideas, please let me know, and we will certainly explore those possibilities. Thank you for your support of the foundation by attending the events that we plan. Judy.
And Judy Bogus will present our membership and our nominating report.
I would first like to thank the membership committee, the people who helped off and on all year, as this is an ongoing job in nominating. Allison Durr, Jerry Henry, Fred Moyer, Cheryl Killam, and Christine Pooch. Thank you all. I would now like to thank the outgoing members of the board, the class of 2015, who have served diligently for the last 3 years. And would you come forward when your name is called, if you're here? Steve Douglas, Jan Gibson, there we go. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Jan Gibson, here she comes. Jerry Henry.
Each one.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you very much. Oh, we want to take a picture, I guess. Gail Hodges. There we go. That's for you. Thank you. Dennis Johnson. Rami Lopat, Alice Moulton Ely? Yeah, there she is. Thank you. Thanks. And Elizabeth Speary, Well, thank you for all of you who have served diligently. We appreciate it, and I hope he's got a good picture of all of you. I would now like to give you the nominations for the new officers of the Lake Forest Preservation Foundation Board. When I read your name, would you please stand so people can become familiar with you? President Art Miller. Vice President for Development, Steve Bent. The Vice President for Programs, Allison Deere. There she is. Thank you. You could stop there. Secretary, Maureen Grinnell. She's the lady that's sick, so I know she's not here. And the treasurer is Fred Moyer. Thank you. You want to stand up again? Thank you all for serving for the next 3 years. Are there any additions to the nominating slate? May I ask for approval of the nominations? And a second? Thank you very much. The new nominees are accepted, and we look forward to working with them. Now I'd like to introduce you to the nominated members for the class of 2018, who will be our new board members. And as I do this, I'm going to have an old member of, not an old member, that's a terrible word to use. A current member of the board will be introducing them. Allison is going to introduce Lynn Bertram.
This is Lynn Bertram, and I am pleased to introduce you to her. I've known her for a little over a year, and she has been a consummate volunteer in Lake Forest and also with the Preservation Foundation. She's been very active in APT ever since her children have started school. She also was a huge, tremendous help on the home tour this past fall. She was the chairman of one of the houses. She's been very involved in the Spirit of 67 also. And I think of 3 words for Lynn: organized, efficient, and enthusiastic. So we are so pleased that she is joining our board. Welcome.
Liz Moore, who will introduce Kathy Donalek. Is Kathy here? Oh, good. There she comes.
Hi, I'm really pleased to announce Kathy as a new member. Kathy's lived in Lake Forest for over 26 years with her family, and during that time she's lived in 4 homes, and 3 of them are in the historic register areas. And I did a little math. All of your homes added up, the age of their homes is 429 years. Kathy is very thorough, does a lot of research, and she'll be a great asset to our board. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Tom is a native Texan, but we're lucky we've got him here now. Tom went to SMU, but the big thing is in 2004 he was lured here from New York, where he was involved as the collection manager and the chief curator for Crabtree Farm and John Bryan. So we are thrilled to have Tom with us. Tom locally is involved in the Historical Society, the Art Institute of Chicago, and after moving to Lake Bluff, he did live in New York, and that's what introduced him to the decorative arts. So we're thrilled to have you on board. Thank you, Tom. Nice to see you. Art Miller is going to introduce Laura Luce.
It's my pleasure to introduce Laura Luce, although many people should know Laura Vanderay Luce, who grew up in Lake Forest in a Stanley Anderson home in the King Muir area. She is a graduate not only of Lake Forest High School, but of the Wheaton College outside of Boston, and also the MBA program at the University of Chicago. She's married to Jeffrey Luce, who works in the city, and they both have lived on Pine Lane for several years and soon will be moving. But Laura has lots of experience, is very interested in all these things, and we're looking forward to having her join us. Thank you very much, Laura.
Gail will introduce Roger Moore.
It is my great pleasure to have Roger Moore nominated to join the Preservation Board at last. He has been a stalwart supporter for years and years, including when his wife Pauline was the president. Roger brings a vast array of expertise to our board. He is a former member of and chairman of the Plan Commission and a 3-term Lake Forest alderman from the 3rd Ward. He has extraordinary insight, always a good, even approach to things versus some of us who get a little emotional. And he will be a wonderful asset to our board. Welcome, Roger.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, again, Maureen Grinnell is not here, and so she was going to introduce Jim Opsenik. Is he here? There he is. Thank you. Jim and his wife Eileen live in Stanley Anderson's original home in Deer Path Hill Estates. Jim has had a long interest in preservation. He has put his interest in construction management and his expertise to work on the restoration of the King Muir Gates, which I think many of you have enjoyed seeing, Castle Gate and Castle Gate Court, and the Moon Gate off Ferda Lane. Now it's time for Jim to share his expertise with all of us. Thank you, Jim. We're glad to have you. And Peggy Pantalone. Hi. Peggy is well known, saying behind every good man stands a good woman. Many of you, I'm sure, know her husband, who has been a former Plan Commissioner and a current 1st Ward alderman, long-standing behind Peggy and Peggy behind him. Committed to the preservation of the Lake Forest architectural and aesthetic beauty, Peggy also brings impressive skills in marketing and strategic planning to the Preservation Board. Thank you. We welcome you. And last but not least, because her name starts with V, is Lynn Van Cleve. We're delighted to have Lynn Van Cleve join the board. She is the Executive Vice President of the Lake Forest Bank and oversees all its retail and operation of the function of the bank. She's been with the bank for 23 years. Before joining the bank, she received her Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Loyola, and she's currently serving as treasurer of the YWCA of Lake Forest. She's the director of the Kemper Educational Charitable Fund. She grew up in Wilmette, resides in Northbrook with her husband and their sons. She is an avid golfer, skier, and I don't know what I would have said if last night's game had gone differently. She's a Blackhawks fan. Welcome, Lynn. We're delighted to have you. I'd like to have a nomination to accept the following. Are there any additions to the board? Does anybody have any? All right, I would like to ask for a nomination to accept the slate as presented. Lynn Bertram, Kathy Donelek, Tom Gleason, Laura Luce, Roger Moore, Jim Opsenik, did I get it right? And Peggy Pandeleon and Lynn Van Cleve. May I have a motion to accept? Thank you. In a second? Second. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll look forward to working with all of them. Thank you.
Art Miller, the president whom you have just elected, will now have some closing remarks. Thank you.